straight from the gates of Bill to your windowsill. He wants to strew dust through the sky, allegedly so the planet won't fry. He proposes fake meat for you to eat. Now the biggest owner of U.S. farmland. He is proposing GMO Franken food and now GMO Franken man. Tell me true. Tell me, how can this get out of hand? If you haven't guessed, this is Greg Allison from Green Greg's, and I'm talking to you about Bill Gates, our dear friend Bill Gates. Holy smoke, this man has given me the creeps. So we're going to talk about some of these things he's into and some new announcements that's been made vis-a-vis him in 3 areas principally. We're going to be talking about mostly 2 and then cryptically a 3rd, I guess. We're going to talk about this whole thing, his whole geoengineering of our climate. Yes, he wants to change the skies. He wants to limit the sun. And when he limits the sun, plants will have no fun. They won't sequester CO2, but that'll be just more for me and you. Okay. Yeah, I just can't get over the rhyming, can I? That's that Odinic spirit, right? The Viking blood. All right, so Bill Gates is involved in this experiment. Now he's funding this experiment called the Stratospheric Controlled Perturbation Experiment. And that experiment is going to be flown on a balloon by the Swedish Space Corporation later this spring, probably in April. And what they're talking about doing is going up in this balloon to about 15 miles. I don't know why 15 miles. I used to fly them to 20 myself. But that is about it, that's an altitude we've also flown stuff at, and once you load it down pretty good. And they want to experiment with putting calcium carbonate in the atmosphere. Now, calcium carbonate is really the same thing that seashells are made out of. If you take an electric wire and run it through seawater, you can actually accrete concrete on that wire and, probably build structures out of the calcium carbonate that's in the seawater. Some people are proposing that for a concept known as seasteading. It's the idea of you build habitats floating on the ocean from the concrete in the ocean. So that is going to require a little more engineering. That's a little more interesting to me than what is proposed by Bill Gates. Now, so what they're proposing to do is to do this experiment. That first experiment is just going to be to experiment on the controls of the balloon. I guess taking it where they want it to go, and which that shouldn't be too hard. We've already played around with that in my neck of the woods here in my groups. All you need to do is have some ballast to drop off, to get higher altitude so you can catch a different wind. Or you can let out some gas to go lower. And you can take whatever vector and direction you want in the atmospheric layers. Maybe find one to go slower. Yeah, I keep rhyming, don't I? So we got some wind here today. Look at these leaves floating around here. Not even a balloon. Just rafting around in the air. It's kind of breezy today. Today is the 15th of January 2021. And presently the time on deck is 17 hours. All right, so I'm gonna get on with this. Before I do, I'm gonna say, hey guys, check out my garden. My garlic has survived, some good frost and snow. The little snowstorm, of course it will. It can handle that. Well, my friends, I would advise you get seed while you can. Go to my link to True Leaf Market, link below, True Leaf Market. I don't know how long our grid might be up or might not. So get all the seed you can while you can. Get the good natural seeds that are heirloom, so you can replant them, the air pollinated stuff. And True Leaf Market has lots of those, and they tell you how to grow the seeds, and I also do a lot of videos. I've done a lot of videos on my garden here, how to make these beds, how to set them up, what to do to plant. And there's the sun going down. That's what Bill Gates wants to block. So tell me, if he his follow-up experiment will be to let out some calcium carbonate in the atmosphere, and it will mimic the sulfur dioxide that volcanoes have put in the atmosphere to cool the planet. That might sound good, but see, supposedly it's, according to them, it's CO2 that's causing global warming. And CO2 supposedly, I could use a little global warming right now. It's kind of chilly out here. CO2, actually though, is not going to be slowed down by or sequestered by plants when you inhibit the plant's growth by limiting the sunshine. Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy. Well, he don't want people to be happy, does he? So what he wants to do is block it out some, and that may just inhibit plant growth, which may inhibit CO2 sequestration by the natural environment, by the biosphere itself. So does that experiment work, or does it not work? Does it inhibit and go against our biosphere? Does it harm plants and animals and wildlife and our ability to grow crops? Which is an interesting question, considering that Bill Gates is now the biggest owner of farmland in America. So he owns now, in America, he's now the largest owner of U.S. farmland. And the farmland itself is 242,000 acres. And he owns 269,000 acres of land overall, because it's not all farmland he owns. His biggest state he owns the most in, I believe, is Louisiana, followed by Arkansas and Arizona. And he owns land in 19 states. 19 states. So, we also know that he owns a large share of stock in the two competing companies that are coming up with that that Franken meat, that stuff they're serving at some of these burgers at, impossible meat, impossible whatever, it's not real meat. It's processed goop. Yeah, I don't know that stuff. I don't trust it. Do you? Hey, what you think? But see, what bothers me is like he and Bezos, the Amazon, he bought out Whole Foods, which was a good place that used to sell organic foods. And then they tried to parlay food that wasn't organic as organic. Some of the canned Heinz food, or whoever, Del Monte, I guess it was. So, you really got to wonder about these guys and what they're up to. And, now that Amazon is, talking about delivering these foods and growing them in factories, their own factories, are they trying to stamp out the last final vestiges where people can work for themselves and be self-sufficient on a farm? They'd probably like to do that, but I think a lot of people are still going to buy from people like that, because I always tell you to spend your dollars locally, support your local economy, and don't, fund the globalist. And I think that's the best way to do it. It's how you vote, and vote with your dollar, because that's how they get empowered, is when you buy their junk. They're trying to run everybody out of business. They want everybody to work for them or the government, and make everybody subservient, except for those at the top. They're trying to break and kick all the ladders out from between the elite at the top and those of us on the bottom. And yeah, speaking of which, you might have heard of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset. Well, you might know that Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum have partnered on a lot of things. One of them being Event 201. Event 201 was sponsored by Johns Hopkins University, the World Economic Forum, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And what was that Event 201? Oh yeah, in October last year, just a month before a certain bug started going around, they did a little exercise on the global pandemic. Interesting timing, interesting timing. And of course, it just so happens that who is it that's promoting all the stuff they want to stick in your arm? Who is it that owns so much of that and profits from it, promotes it so hard? We wouldn't know who that would be, would we? No. It wouldn't be our dear friend Bill. So what is Bill up to? He's trying to go from our skies to our veins to our food. He's trying to dominate our lives every way we turn. Do you trust him? His company Microsoft's got that patent 06A1. This kind of got a blockchain component somehow to be able to monitor all your movements so that you could be paid according to how you moved. What? Control all your movements? The ultimate control? Oh my God, you know, they got a monopoly practically in the software world of what we use in our computer systems, right? With the company he first founded, Microsoft. What a sweet sounding name. Isn't he sweet? Isn't he so wonderful? Oh my gosh, maybe he's out of control. You know, I think we've discovered Lex Luthor. Yes, I think Bill Gates is Lex Luthor. Where's Superman when you need him? Bill Gates has got to be Lex Luthor, the mad capitalist scientist that was, you know, featured in the Superman series. And you might remember he was always a mad scientist until the movie came out with Reeves, which they made him a businessman. He wanted to create new beachfront property along the San Andreas Fault. Yeah, that sounds about like our dear friend geoengineering, right? Well, there you go, geoengineering in the skies. Me oh my's. So what gives him the authority, the right to do that? And will he just go off and do it on his own, irregardless of what anybody else thinks or says? Change our planet? Change our biosphere? What can that do to the weather? How can that get out of hand? Yeah, there's some that fear that. They think that we're coming into a grand solar minimum, and some have discussed the idea that might even kick off an ice age. Well, I don't know. It could harm plant growth. You know, these trees, they tell me they like sunlight. Yeah, they love sunlight. All the plants that grow, that I know, love sunlight. They grow better with sunlight. And solar systems work better with sunlight. Solar cells, photovoltaics. Less sunlight, less power, less growth. Now maybe it just isn't going to be that much, but you know, it only takes small margin of percentages to greatly affect the climate. That's what they tell us. So, what does it all mean? I don't know. What I worry about though is that the oversight may be very much insufficient in an operation that affects the entire world. How do you regulate that? How do you make sure that we're all safe from individuals who can have so much power to unilaterally, perhaps, change the world? Literally change the world. Of course, maybe he's already done that. You know, remember that 201? Who did I say was involved in that 201 study? Oh yeah, the World Economic Forum, which is ran by that good little sweet German guy I mentioned, Klaus Schwab. Yeah, that sweet German guy wants to take your land, take everything from you, unless you're one of the elite. Don't you remember they had their videos starting out? I think they took these down because we started criticizing them, but they started out initially saying, I own nothing. I have no privacy, and I've never been happier in my life. What a zappy, stupid thing. That is zappy and stupid. It also says, I have no control over my life. I'm totally subservient, and that is exactly where they want you. Interesting. Now, a lot of people are laughing. Oh my God, Greg, that's ridiculous. That'll never happen. Well, we suddenly, from last year, started witnessing lockdowns. There's talk of them getting more severe this year. We're seeing businesses shutting down because of it. We're seeing all the ladders kicked out. We're seeing the middle economy getting decimated. We're seeing freedom of speech going bye-bye. Freedom of assembly going bye-bye, possibly. We're seeing challenges to things that you would not have imagined this time last year already. Just crazy, big, ginormous changes. So maybe they got something bigger up their sleeve. Yeah, it would take a big catastrophe to get part people from their land and things like that. It would take something bigger. Do they have something else up their sleeves? I don't know. How can they project that they would bring such a thing about? But I've seen articles saying that Agenda 21, excuse me, that, well, I shouldn't have said the word, yikes. What I meant to say was, yikes. Oh well, see how that goes. Well, it is all tied together. That their Great Reset, that's what I was trying to say, would start in 2021. Wow, I'm getting my words tied up and I'm saying dangerous words here on this platform that I don't mean to say. You know, it's kind of, I tell everybody that being on this platform is like walking on eggshells on thin ice in an earthquake with meteorites hitting ice all around you. You know, that's about what it's like. So it's just tough. I mean, you almost can't even speak the English language anymore. There's so many words you have to avoid that it's very hard to talk about topics, especially topics about things that's going on in the world, things that you actually want to know about. Those are the most popular videos I put up there because everybody's curious. Greg, what's coming? What's happening? What's next? What do I do? Okay, what do you do? There we go. That's a good topic. Let's finish up with that. What to do? Well, what you need to do is make sure you support small businesses, local businesses in your area as much as you can. The farmers in your area, the artisans in your area, the shops in your area, the restaurants in your area. And maybe you do pickup if you're afraid to go in. You don't have to go in these places. You can always, there's a lot of places that have pickup services, you know, for you. If you're a farmer, think about doing CSAs where you can deliver food directly to your customers and cut out the other middlemen. Go to the farmers markets and things like that. Help the small businesses as much as you can. The people that are still independent. The people that are still standing on their own 2 feet. They're suffering with all the shutdowns that's been going around. The local retailers, not the big box stores, as much as you can. Of course, you know, you do need to prep. You need to get ready, and somebody is going to the big box stores just because you can buy so much bulk stuff. And you need to make sure you keep your fuel tanks filled up. But we're also, I've started this Freedom Restoration Foundation, and we're going to be pushing to maintain our rights and even to restore them. So I really highly encourage you to check that out. Go to info@freedomrestorationfoundation.org. Use that email and email me and put freedom in the title so we'll know you want to be in the foundation. If you want to join our tribe group, put tribe in the title. We do have, for now, a Facebook site, and go there and try to join there. But, you know, that's subject to the whims of the platform and may disappear at any second. So being there doesn't mean we're going to have you unless you send us the email. So we're trying to work to preserve our freedoms in many ways. And one of them is probably we're going to be working on the constitutional sanctuary state initiatives. So, and other things. We are working it, my friends. So there are many things you can do, but stay safe. Keep your head on your shoulders. Don't panic, and don't turn to violence unless you have to defend yourself. You're always, well, you should be able to defend yourself. Some people are really challenging that these days, but I don't. Some people think, I guess you just ought to let them run you over. Well, I wouldn't go that far, my friends. You've got to take care of your family yourself. So I will be doing more videos on these topics to keep you aware, because the proposition of this channel is to help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. And this is part of your eyes wide open and head on a swivel news, because you definitely need to keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel, especially today. It's coming at us faster and faster. I'm going to talk some more about that, but don't let them be your master. So that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Yeah, well, we'll go more into that in the future. But I also do videos about gardening. More is going to be coming up. I'm going to be setting up a farm in Arizona. Maybe even expanding this one. I got this greenhouse here. I've got a really, now that I got a well, start taking advantage of it. I got, you know, get some people to Sharecrop here for me, so kind of divide the labor up. And I'll be showing you, I'll give me more time to do more videos. And I hope to build another greenhouse over here. I'm planning to put a greenhouse. I'm planning to put a few greenhouses in Arizona. On my 40 acres there. It'll probably be this spring or summer that I do it. And I'm going to build this habitat project back here. That's one of my other projects. And I plan to build one in Arizona too. So it'll be in 2 very different climates, my universal habitat. And I'll be the greenest person on earth when I do that, because that is like the 0 footprint, totally ecological habitat. So it'll be the greenest concept anybody's ever put out. when I get that going. So that'll be funny. Green Greg's will really be green, but but most of the greens probably can't stand me. but I should be their darling. I'm doing more for their cause than they are. All they're doing is just making trouble, because they just want to wreck the economy. That's all they're really about. That's what I'm thinking. They just want to wreck the economy. Well, let's take a nature bath here for a minute. Look at the trees. Should have walked out in the forest. Maybe I should have done this whole video from the forest, my friends. But yeah, I'll be doing more videos on worms, especially if I start setting up a worm farm out in Arizona. I'll have different kind of climates to do it from. It's just hard for me to do these things, guys. I got a day job that's really busy these days. But eventually, if all this picks up, I'll be able to switch out of that and do more of this and bring you more content as I do it. That's my goal. Oh, but to see all these videos I've been talking about, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Bang the update notification bell and click all. You can also support me by going to prepwithgreg.com, checking out the prepping supplies and special deals I got at the front of that for the long-term food. And check out, click on the Patriots Supply logo. It'll take you into all kind of other prepping supplies and deals. What's been going on here? I saw what's happening. This is falling in. I got to come here. Just this now. I won't do it later. I can't do it with one hand. You can see I got my worm beds built here. I got a little finish work to do on them. This is nice and populated here. Anyway, my friends, I want y'all to take care of yourselves. And like I said, never panic. We're into crazy times. Keep your head on your shoulder. If you don't want to keep it on your shoulders, that is. You might take it off. Stay centered. Be right with your Creator. But just stay centered. Don't go too emotional. I know it's hard to do these days. Keep your wits, keep your head. So with all that I'm going to say, I've got more coming. Thank you for watching. Again, we'll look at the trees and the breeze. And we'll go. Pine cones up there. I'll zoom in on the pine cones. See them? The tree's loaded with pine cones. Squirrels love them. I'll have a little feed forest here soon. All right, once again, thank you for watching.